Gruesome Magazine.
Hello again, I'm Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Christopher G. Mohr, and I will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're doing what is essentially 8 movies at one time. It's an anthology show, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. They're only an hour long each, but they might as well be movies because they're insanely good. Let's get into this. Let me introduce you to the rest of the crew, starting off with my co-host, Jeff Mohr. Jeff Mohr, how you doing, sir?
Whatever you do not speak to it, do not make eye contact, and don't cross the line.
Jeff?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Also joining us this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I'm fabulous.
You are.
I mean, that's all I've got to say. I'm fabulous.
Lighting.
Actually, I'm really excited to talk about this. Wait, with lighting?
I was going to say lighting by Panos Cosmatos. Yes.
Oh.
Your surroundings. Yes.
Yeah.
All
Is
right.
your name Mandy? No.
Mandy.
Oh.
Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
A rotten duck, a lover of horror decades, a living dead girl, and an award-winning filmmaker. Here to talk about Guillermo del Toro's
Oh, look at
Cabinet
that.
of
Oh, that's
Curiosities.
awesome.
What is that?
What is that?
That's his
Yeah.
book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that
so
has the stories in it?
Hey.
No, this is his notebooks, collections, and other obsessions that he came out with many
Okay.
years ago.
Oh,
That has
okay, okay.
has like a lot of his drawings and
Oh,
stuff,
wow.
and sketches and stuff, and pictures and stuff.
That's
So,
sweet.
which is where he got the name for the anthology. Because I'm a
Right.
huge Del Toro stan.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I have his pop somewhere. But
Huger
I
than
don't
me.
have it anywhere.
Well, this
Oh, I do
Yeah.
too.
well, this was originally going to be called 10 After Midnight, but they changed it to
Oh, I like Cabinet of Curiosities.
yeah.
much
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why. So yeah, very much.
Well, didn't we do a
Very
movie
much.
called 10 After Midnight last year? Carolyn Williams? Wasn't that the
better.
Perhaps.
10 minutes to that's
the
10
radio
minutes to
DJ
midnight.
thing?
Yeah,
That's 10
10
minutes
to
to
midnight.
midnight.
Okay.
10 to midnight. All right.
Well,
Well, what we're going to do tonight,
Close.
folks,
Yeah.
is we're going to we're doing things different because we have 8 individual episodes. Each one deserves an hour of discussion. To be honest with you, we're going to try to jam it into
But
one.
that's how long they are.
I know, but we talk longer than shows are sometimes. But
No
each
way.
one, yeah, I know, but we're going to give it as much as we can. We're going to discuss each one individually. We're not going to do first impressions. We're just going to dive into it, and we'll wrap each one up with our score, individual score, and favorite scene from each one.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm
So
able to
go
do that.
go get you some tea or coffee or whatever beverage you would like, or other things, and let's get into this. I don't know where I was going with that, but hey, let's go.
Okay.
Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix, available streaming beginning October 25th, 2022. And they did something interesting here for Netflix. They released 2 a day, up from the 25th through, I guess, the 28th, 29th. Synopsis: bizarre nightmares unfold in 8 tales of terror in a visually stunning, spine-tingling horror collection curated by Guillermo del Toro. They are Lot 36, directed by Guillermo Navarro. Graveyard Rats, directed by Vincenzo Natali. The Autopsy, directed by David Pryor. The Outside, directed by Ana Lily Amapor. I think I added an
I
extra
think
line
you're
there.
doing great.
No,
No,
you're
keep
good.
going. Oh my God,
Pickman's
this
Model,
is
directed
good.
by Keith Thomas. Dreams in the Witch House, directed by Catherine Hardwick. The Viewing, directed by Panos Cosmatos. And The Murmuring, directed by Jennifer Kent.
Okay, I mean,
Each-
that was definitely
That
one
is
of the
the
best,
best.
we've ever done.
Your best pronunciations of the
Yeah.
year.
I was like,
And
don't
award
stop,
goes
don't
to-
stop. Just keep
I know.
going. Just keep
Well,
going.
lose
You're on
my
a
rhythm.
roll.
Each one of these directors you have likely heard of. Many of them did Hannibal episodes there, Christopher G. Mohr.
I know.
So we're going to go through each and every one. I'll give a quick synopsis, and then we'll dive into just the discussions.
well, just before we get started, though, I mean, if you dig, like you were talking about, if you dig into the people that were involved in this, it's amazing the other stuff that they've done and how he somehow or another was able to put all these people together in these
and
these
also
collections.
also gave them the freedom to tell the stories they want to tell. And I think, and this is just an overall thing, and I think that's what makes this anthology kind of stick out more than other anthologies, to where they're all at some point they're different time periods. There's different approaches to story, you know, and it definitely goes more fantastical in a lot of episodes than you see in other they're kind of connected too. Actually, Del Toro said that they're all sort of there is a connection there, but yeah, I anyway.
There's a lot of Lovecraft influence among the ones, even the ones that weren't actually from stories from Lovecraft. And I would say, so I loved, before we get into each one, I did love Guillermo del Toro coming out and announcing, introducing, coming out and introducing, and going around this cabinet of curiosities, which was amazing. And then what I love the most, and you'll laugh because it's of me in the beginning, is the way he pronounced everybody's names. It was just like so quick and so fast.
And as someone, I'm like, I really hope that they make several seasons of this, so that if I ever become some level of fame, I want to do an anthology so he can make a little figure of me. And this was directed by Christopher G. Mohr. You know,
you gotta say it faster than that, though.
You know how when you watch stuff on Netflix, there's always like or Amazon or any of them that there's a skip intro button. This is like one of the few series where I never did that, because I loved watching the cabinet unfold and the intro going through the wow, was it amazing.
And I was kind of wondering if, because I actually, one of the things I watch on YouTube is these people that open these puzzle boxes and stuff, and I was kind of wondering, I feel like he might have actually had the manufacture part of it.
Nice.
Now, I'm sure some of it was probably CGI, because some of the intricate ways it would open, but I've seen things open that way before. But I think, I will say that like he's actually been able to pull off what we haven't been able to do before, where we have like a Rod Serling's, you know, and an Alfred Hitchcock. He's actually, for a new generation, he's become that. So for me, I'm just as excited about his intros as I am about the episodes.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because you when you think of Rod Serling, you think of Twilight Zone, but for me, this is more like Night Gallery as far as tone and the way they are. But
but the episodes are kind of long. Honestly, they're kind of long.
Well, one of them is only 35 minutes or 37 minutes, but every other one is about an hour each.
An hour.
I didn't find them long.
Yeah,
I enjoyed them. I'm not saying I didn't.
There might be one I found long,
stretched out.
There's one episode I like the least of all of them, so I will say that much. So
we're going to get into that. All right, so let's get into each and every episode as quickly as we can. The first one is Lot 36. Which xenophobic right-wing veteran Nick purchases the rights to an abandoned storage room lot. He refuses Mexican immigrant Amelia's pleas to let her recover her familiar belongings from her lot, which was mistakenly sold to him, cruelly leaving her with nothing but her old padlock. He acquires a lot belonging to a deceased old man. Desperate for funds, he searches for the lot for items so there's a lot in here. I shouldn't read this much for selling to sell until he finds a German seance table and 3 volumes on demon summoning. And I'm not going to read any more of this because it's going to get into too much. But let's talk about Lot 36, which the lead star is Tim Blake Nelson.
Okay, so I'll just stop you right there, because let me tell you, this would have been so much better without him in it. Like, his acting was the only thing that was bad about this one for me.
Oh, I thought it was great.
I thought it was amazing.
I didn't like this one.
I know you didn't like that one.
This one kind of got me worried. I mean, okay.
I liked the story. I liked the cinematography. I liked the German dude. I liked the Hispanic woman. I liked the black guy. I could not stand the lead. And I actually sat there and I was like, what happened here? What, like, that's how bad it was for me. Like, he seemed so inauthentic. And it's not that he was just a jerk and a piece of poop. It's just that it felt
like he was acting.
Yeah, it felt like he was acting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about this.
Because
This-
I
like you
love
said,
the
it's-
story. The story's cool. Like,
and
No,
the
I-
creature design, the cinematography, like you said.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I think one of the great things about this series in general that they did try to do as much stuff practical as possible. They would,
yeah.
add the elements of CGI when they couldn't pull off certain things. But I don't know, I liked him a lot. I think it was kind of, it's always kind of ballsy when you have like a character who's like not a nice character at all. This is a racist piece of crap guy.
Yeah.
But then you don't care so much if there's some kind of comeuppance to his character. But I don't know. I thought he was great in that. I had no problems with him at all. I think the only thing I could fault with it is because he's just not a very nice character. But to me, it kind of plays into the story that plays out. And also, I love, and this plays into other episodes as well, is that there's all these different areas you don't normally see these type of stories play out, and you never see this sort of like American Pickers or any of these type of shows where they go into storage wars, yeah. And I always like that's actually a cool place to actually set a horror film is with that. But
yeah, that's why I was disappointed because I did love everything. Sorry, my computer just did something crazy. I did love everything about it, other than.
So another big problem for me was the ending with the lady at the door.
I loved her. It was awesome.
Well, I liked her, but it fell flat for me. That whole thing just fell flat.
I actually wish that she had said, "Oh, I don't speak English" or something. Because remember how he had been so crappy toward her, like, "Oh, apparently you don't speak English," or "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak English." I was like this, but I didn't hate him. That's the problem.
Oh, I hated him.
Oh, I hated him
to hate him. He didn't do it. He didn't do a good enough job for me to hate him.
No.
I've been a Tim Blake Nelson fan ever since Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Oh yeah, definitely all three of them.
Okay, I loved him in that. Hated him in this.
Huh.
I don't know. I feel like I was just phoning it in.
Can I throw out some people here because I know you mentioned it and I know Christopher knows this, but the director Guillermo Navarro was a cinematographer for Del Toro on Pacific Rim, Pan's Labyrinth, Hellboy, The Devil's Backbone, Chronos, and he directed 6 episodes of Hannibal.
Yep.
Also The Bridge, Preacher, Luke Cage, and the writer Regina Corrado. She wrote 8 episodes of Deadwood, 9 episodes of Sons of Anarchy. What did I say? What?
Regina. I mean, it can be.
But I will say, regardless of the issues that you have with certain characters, I love the creature thing at the very end. I love the way that plays out, the look of it. I just loved everything about that. And I think that's probably a common thing for me standing over a lot of the creatures throughout this whole series. But I just love that because I've never seen sort of it did felt very like Resident Evil. It felt like one of those video game creatures, but also it sort of sets it up. Okay, we're going to see a lot of Lovecraftian type things in this universe.
I love even that he talks about, how her hair is fused to the floor. She's been here so long. I think that was a clever write.
The production design too.
I liked everything about it, other than that one thing.
Yeah, and it was based on a story by Guillermo del Toro too. So let's go ahead and give our score for this and pick a favorite scene. Christopher, you start us off.
I will give this I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. I really, really enjoyed the hell out of this. I didn't have a problem with the acting in it, and I think there's several series where it goes one way and then it adds this other big thing. It's like, whoa, where are we going with this? And just the look of that creature at the end. And I'll say my favorite scene is when they come across the. I'm sure we're probably going to be.
We might all pick
an hour. I think it's okay if we pick
an hour.
If we pick the same scenes, that's fine.
We can do that. Yes.
But yeah, when they come across that and you sort of see that, I guess we're going to have to spoil for these, but the open face thing. I don't know. Just the production design of this series made me happy. So happy. But yeah, I'll say that's my favorite scene.
Crystal, what's your score and favorite scene?
I'll give it a 3.5.
3.5.
And my favorite scene is actually I kind of liked it when his truck got beat. That was nice. I did kind of feel it there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He's like, it's my baby. Well, too bad, dude.
Jeff, your scored favorite scene?
First, I have to ask you, did you guys recognize, and of course I'll say this wrong, but Elpidia Carrillo, the woman that played Amelia?
Nope.
No.
Predator.
Oh, wow.
Salvador.
What? Really?
Awesome.
Let's get Harry.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good
35
one.
years
That's a good
ago.
one.
Right?
Good Lord.
Jeff,
Ah,
yes.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
thought that
good
was
call.
amazing. So anyway, this is I'm going to sound like a broken record because I saw, in terms of anthologies that I've watched over the year, and every time there's a new one, I love them. I watch them, and I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm sort of like half disappointed, but I was I can't think of the word, flummoxed.
Yeah, there you go. I like that word.
So I'm gonna. This is gonna be repetitive, but I'm giving this one a 5.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
I don't see anything wrong with it. I thought it was wonderful. I just ate up every second
Nice.
of it.
Nice.
Favorite scene, I'm gonna say when when the German tells him don't cross the line, and then they show that overhead spot, and he can't cross the line fast enough. And
He can't, can he?
Totally, he's so unaware, right? He just walks right over there. So, and I don't know, that may seem weird, but it just captured it from any other angle. I'm not sure that would have worked quite the same, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, for me, it's a 3.5, but it's a strong 3.5. It's not like a discouraging 3.5 at all. It's like just a little bit of a false start for me. And my favorite scene is going to be the discovery of that room, right? When they go in there, they're going down that crazy, hallway that's behind everything, and
Pages on the walls.
Yeah, all that stuff, and they find it. It's just the whole. It changed things for the show for me, and I really enjoyed that. All right, let's move on quickly to our second one. Graveyard Rats, director Vincenzo Natali, based on a story by Henry Kuttner. It's about a grave robber who encounters rats and a whole lot more. I'm not going to read everything here. I'm just going to quickly summarize. It's about a grave robber. There's rats.
That's it.
And it's scary.
Basically.
Crystal, what do you want? Let's start off talking about
love
this.
this one. I love this one. Christopher mentioned that there was a black and white version. I would love to watch this in black and white.
The trailers and more section of Netflix, there's a black and white version.
At the very bottom.
The director actually prefers the way he shot it. He feels like the cinematography shines a whole lot more in the black and white version.
Yes,
so.
I absolutely would believe that and could imagine it, because this has such a great old world feel to it. I love the idea of the grave robbers. I love the beginning where he is actually interrupting grave robbers, and then he's acting
he's a grave robber himself. Yeah.
Yes.
David Hewlett, by the way, is the lead in this, and he's fantastic.
Oh yeah, he was great. I loved him a lot. I mean, and I love the concept of this. And then actually when you see the big rat, it kind of reminded me of, what was it, the Twilight Zone, where they have the big, I know it's a rabbit in one of the scenes. It kind of reminded me of that or something. They did an incredible job on that.
And the rats too.
Yeah,
and
the human. I mean, they did kind of explain that it was built on where they were doing rituals or something. See, now this one, they got me here. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, so the other one, I was like, I love the story. I had one issue, but this one, I really enjoyed it. I felt like when you see the stuff getting sucked up, it's that claustrophobia again. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that
kind of F's with me.
Yeah, this one is one of my favorites by far. It also has a nice kind of a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, not a big one, but it is kind of funny, his reaction.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, it just kind of, it helps in this case. I really enjoyed this. I thought the creature effects, and then there's more creature effects on top of that. is marvelous. Yeah, one of my favorites. By far.
Well, and I think again, there's several episodes where it goes one way and then it goes somewhere crazier, and this is one of those episodes like, oh man, where did that come from?
And it didn't need to, but it does.
It didn't need to, but it's like, oh god, because then there's like two threats going on, and you know, one's even more like fantastical. It felt like something out of like a fantasy movie or something.
Mine.
But yeah, I really love. I mean, I think the one thing that stands out from this anthology compared to other things is just the production design, just the design of, you know, from the costuming, even like there's that scene when he's in his bedroom, you know, in the hotel or whatever, and the way everything looks, and yeah, when he runs into those rats and stuff, and there's, and even just like the look of the dead bodies are just so well done.
Oh, the coroner. We all love the coroner, don't we?
Oh my god, yeah. This one has was that Julian Richings, right?
Yes.
Yeah. This one has one of the best endings too.
Well, it feels like a very Twilight Zone way into it.
And it's also the shortest. It's also the shortest.
It is. Oh, it felt short. It didn't feel short. It just felt quick.
Yep.
Okay.
Jeff, and
Tales from the Crypt kind of ending too.
Tales from the Crypt. Definitely felt Terry's Tales from the Crypt, because I always had like a hint of humor in a lot of their episodes.
This is another one where you got people that the director Vincenzo Natali did The Cube.
Splice!
He also directed In the Tall Grass, the Stephen King one on Netflix.
That's right.
And he's currently doing stuff for the new series The Peripheral. He did things for The Stand, Lock and Key. Another one, 6 episodes of Hannibal. And it looks like he started his career as a storyboard artist.
Well, you could tell that with some of the frames in this, because there's like that. I think the very first thing when he encounters those two guys, and there's like that moon up in the corner, and there's even things with even the cramped environments to where the way it's lit, and the lighting and stuff.
Feet go down the hole. I was like, oh no, come back.
Yeah, or like when he's in his bedroom and the rats like pour when he has that nightmare.
The nightmare was insane. Oh my god.
Well, all of those scenes in the tunnel were like frames out of storyboards. You know,
I felt like very graphic novel. Like,
well, this is from a story by Henry Kuttner that's very similar to what happens here. It was in Weird Tales in March 1936.
Wow.
The story. So yeah, very. He's a Lovecraft. What's the word I want? Not compadre, but
contemporary.
Writing at the same time. Yeah, contemporary. And also, you know, David Hewlett. You said he was in The Cube. He was in The Cube. He was in Nightmare Alley, and he was in Shape of Water. So, you know, you see, I just there's so many connections how he brings these people together.
Yeah,
it's just
he does. He definitely keeps it in the family. All right, let's go ahead and give our score and a favorite scene quickly. Let's go different order. Crystal, you're first.
Okay, I'll give this a 4.5. And my favorite scene is the dream where the rats come.
Oh wow, really? Oh my.
Yeah,
okay.
I love that. Actually, well, I thought it was real at first, you know, because they have the hookers or whatever going, and then it's like he's there and he's like, It was like, it was really like Christopher said, it's really elaborate. Like there's a lot to everything. The production value is high.
Yeah, you definitely feel the time frame as well. Jeff, your score and favorite scene.
Again, I'm going at this from the other end and going, what did I not like about this? And there's nothing. So I'm giving it a 5.
5? A 5?
It's going to be repetitive. And favorite scene, I'm going to say when he's in the big chamber of the, I forget what they call it, the Black Church or something.
Yeah, the Black Church, yes.
He goes over to get the necklace off the thing. And just when he thinks he's, now I got it. You know, that was easy.
Mine! That was great.
Yes, mine. Talk about Tales from the Crypt, you know.
Oh my god. So I'm going to jump in here and give this a 4.75 because there's another one that I like more than this, and I'm reserving the 5 for that one. My favorite scene is the end with the body in the thing, and it starts to wiggle and shake, and it like, oh no, and oh god, oh my god, that just really got me. And the way it did, it looked so good, so effective. That really got me. Yeah, that or anytime the large rat's on there. Christopher, your score, your favorite scene.
5 out of 5.
Nice.
It's brilliant, and I'm probably going to be going Jeff's way for a lot of the rest of these episodes. But yeah, and I think there's a lot of the scenes you guys picked would easily be my favorite scene. So I'm trying to go. I'll say when he encounters the big rat.
Oh,
they have that alien moment when he's got like the rat. It's almost got like it can't even see. It's almost got white eyes, and it's almost
like sluggy almost.
Yeah, because when he encounters it initially, it's got little baby rats. It's like, oh, this is gross.
I mean, even when the rats are just coming down and he's like sitting there, and the rats are running over him. It's just all the rats. I'm icky about rats.
Well, especially the very end when the 2 graveyard guys.
Oh, that's my scene. That's what really got me. All right, up next, the third one, The Autopsy, from director David Pryor. A teleplay by David S. Goyer, based on a short story by Michael Shea. This involves, let's see, how can I do this one? It involves an autopsy of, I think, a bunch of miners that were involved in an accident. And there's a special item, this bomb, for lack of a better way. That's what they describe it as, a bomb. And what is this all about? And our what are we going to call this guy? Dr. Carl Winters is his name, played by F. Murray Abraham, is basically discovers what it's all about, and that's the story, and it's incredibly marvelous. What did we think about this one, guys?
Well, Jeff's first. Go, Jeff.
Well, anybody can jump in. Jeff, you jump in.
I loved it. And I'm going to do what I did before. I mean, again, you guys probably know who David Goyer is, but I didn't know who he was. But I believe he worked on or wrote the script for the new Hellraiser. Also worked on the Foundation series on Apple, The Sandman, The Dark Knight, the first 3 Blade movies. And Michael Shea, if you're not familiar with him, won a World Fantasy Award for a book called Nif the Lean, which is a Lovecraftian world, and he's got a trilogy that fit into that, and wrote tons of great stuff. He's a great writer. So anyway, I like this a lot. I like the whole theme of it, and how it explains it, and it kind of fits into this whole, well, it definitely fits into this kind of Lovecraftian theme we got going so far, without even trying hard.
There's a lot of tentacles in this movie. In these
wow. when that thing comes out, I forget what his name was, Joe Allen. Anyway, I love
it. The director did a movie called The Empty Man, which
yes
is an interesting movie in and of itself, and it's, if you can find it, you should watch it. I recommend it. It's a long movie, but it's incredibly interesting. But yeah, this one has a lot of really great visual effects with these autopsies that are, they're gruesome, but they're also like incredibly beautiful to watch. It really well done. And yeah, F. Murray Abraham is incredible in this.
He's brilliant.
Well, so is Glenn Turman. He's great too.
Yeah, he's great too. Yeah. Well, and I think that's what that's the foundation of this episode is the acting talent that's on display here, and also just a really well written script, because there's a lot of heady ideas that go over most people's heads. But although I did joke, and I call this is if you turned The Trouble of Tribbles into a horror film, you'd get this.
Oh wow, that's. I don't know how to process that.
But yeah, and I think it also feels of a nice companion piece to Autopsy of Jane Doe a little bit. But I really, really enjoyed the acting. I loved the I mean, just watching him, like, as he goes from body to body doing these autopsies and he's talking about it. I could watch that all day long, F. Murray Abraham. But and also just the how he sort of without giving too much away, how he battles it, I think is it's a very heady way to battle it, but something I've never really seen before. And I think to be able to pull that off visually and pull it off in an hour episode, I think really works. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of CGI in places in this to put on display some of the ideas. But also, if you have problems with trypophobia, just seeing the look of that creature, it has all these different holes on it. Ugh. The design of the creatures, very H.R. Geiger meets H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, it's something
very, very vaginal, phallic.
all at once.
all at once.
Yeah.
Very hermaphroditic, I guess. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about this. This is definitely a standout of the anthology.
All right, Crystal, you want to say anything before we get into our?
Oh, I like this one better than Graveyard Rats, but they've already said enough about it. So.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it then. Let's give our score and our favorite scene. Jeff Mohr, you're up first.
5.
I was gonna give it a 5.
5. You get a 5. You get a 5.
You just have a 5 on it.
This whole series pushes all my buttons. You know, the
Nice.
writers, the special effects, and everything. So I just can't find anything wrong with it. I mean, Michael Shea, oh my God, he wrote a book called Color Out of Time too, which was a takeoff of Color Out of Space. Anyway, back to this. It's a 5, and my favorite scene is gotta be. I think it's the final scene when the sheriff turns over Dr. Winters, and you see he sees what he sees. He sees what's written
on his chest. Oh my God!
On his chest.
I'll go next, I guess. I'm giving this is my 5. I absolutely adored this one, and this one's which is interesting because this one's the most sci-fi of the bunch, I would say. Although there's another one that's very sci-fi.
Yeah,
But this is the most successful sci-fi one of the bunch.
Debatable.
Oh
Again.
shit. So I love this one. My favorite scene is I think it's the dialogue between what did you say his name? Joe Allen, the puppeted Joe Allen.
It would be the creature.
The creature in this case, yeah. And just the fact, your cancer, your delicious cancer, I'm going to eat that first. I'm just like, oh my God. I was just like, oh shit. Just the whole idea of what, he had him there on the table, and he's
had that sexual thing too, because he says something about all the
orgasms,
wonderful orgasms.
Oh, that's right, he does. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, but it was just Christopher, your score and favorite scene.
Oh, 5. This I guess favorite scene would be when the guy's doing an autopsy on himself while he's talking.
Yeah, disemboweling himself. Yeah.
I was like, wow. I was like, oh God.
I know where to cut, not to kill me. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's just like he's doing the same thing the other guy was doing, but to himself. And I've never seen that in any kind of movie before. So
the dialogue's great because he goes, "I know your body's better than you do." I just love that whole aspect of it.
But
yeah,
and it's though because he did miscalculate.
Well, that might be because of our character.
Well, but the mind is a bigger thing than your body.
But see, okay, there is a discrepancy because he said, "I'm going to know every thought that you have," so he would have seen those thoughts
once he gets connected.
When he get connected,
he was already connected. I'm talking to Joe Allen when he hands over the knife, but that's irrelevant. We're going to let that slide. He knew. Never mind.
He didn't know Jeff Murray Abrams' thoughts.
That's not who I'm talking about.
No,
Joe Allen. You know what I'm saying, don't you, Doc? Yeah, he was already thinking. That's why he was he knew you weren't going to be able to. That's why you passed over the knife. Irrelevant. Doesn't matter. It's still really good. I'm going to give it a 4.75.
Oh.
It's not my favorite.
It's not your favorite?
Nope. But it is better than Graveyard Rats, just ever so slightly. But this one is just really good. Other than that slight thing, which I ignored.
Yeah, and the direction is fantastic too.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. This
Right.
the gore is gorgeous.
Oh, and but not. Yeah, it's just handled so well. All right, up next is the fourth one, The Outside from Anna Lily Emapor. I feel like I want to give an extra eye in there. It's teleplay by Haley Z. Boston, based on a webcomic by Emily Carroll. And this is about a young lady who is very down on herself, doesn't appreciate herself, and finds the elements of transformation through a character played by Dan Stevens. Meanwhile, her husband Martin Starr tries to reassure her everything's fine and fails miserably. Let's dive into this one. What do we think of Outsider?
Too long.
Too long.
It was just too long. I like the story. I love the lead. She is so good. Her husband is magical. I love their relationship. Of course, the whole story is sad, but I get why she wants to transform. I get why she wants to be like her friends. She just wants to fit in. But let's be real. I would die to have a friend like her. If someone brought me taxidermy that they did, I'd be like you.
But not these women that she's working with.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. But it just, I felt like it dragged.
So it's Kate
transformation.
Felt very stretched out.
Yeah, Kate Micucci, is that how you pronounce her name? Is the lead actress? Martin Starr, of course.
Well, she's from I think it's Oates and Garfunkel. I think the name of the comedy group. Comedy duo. They do like.
Is it Garfunkel and Oates?
Garfunkel Oates, yeah.
Oates and Garfunkel. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but they do like they do really funny songs. But yeah, this is my least favorite episode of this is the one that one of the few ones I didn't like.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was too stretched out.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand what they're going for. This feels like if the stuff were made by David Cronenberg.
That's what it was.
And also, it feels very Coen Brothers. You know, when they're goofy. It feels like Fargo and Raising Arizona. I mean, and I love the production design. Again, this is the stars of this anthology are the production design, the costuming, all that stuff. I mean, that house that she lives in looks like the most ridiculous looking house ever, but I loved it. But I don't know, something about the story was just so drawn out and weird, and everything, even like the very ending where she's like smiling at the camera or whatever, it goes on. It feels like it goes on for like an hour. There's parts of this that I've kept being pulled out of it, to where I wasn't really stuck. I mean, I understand the idea behind it, you know, but this feel like this could have been like a 50-minute short, and it would have been just as good. Yeah, I didn't really connect with this one. This is definitely not the one that, but at the same time, I do appreciate it because it's a different, again, like a lot of these, is told a different style, different type of story, and that's cool. But like most anthologies, you know, most people aren't going to like every one of them, but this is one of the ones that's kind of like, if it were taken out at it, I wouldn't have had a problem.
Yeah, this is my favorite thing the director's ever done. I was just mesmerized. I was just mesmerized by Kate's performance as the lead in this.
I think she's great in it.
She was, her whole performance. I believed everything. I thought she was authentic as can be, even when it was funny, and which to me it wasn't that funny, but it was tongue in cheek. But I had a much stronger reaction to this.
Well, I think her relationship with Martin Starr felt real. There was a connection there. But again, I mean, I feel like there's like 15 minutes of people rubbing lotion on their hands.
There's a lot of lotion.
Yeah, it's so drawn out. It's like, oh, we have to make this an hour, and I feel like it could have been edited down shorter, because then it just like, okay, get on with it.
I think if it had been edited shorter, it would have felt more impactful.
I think so too. Maybe I would have had a different reaction to it, because it just felt so drawn out to where it's like, and it's stuff I've kind of seen before in other stories.
Mhm. And I agree with you with that ending scene. I felt this. I liked it at first when she was like, but after like so long, I'm like, okay, I'm over it.
Yeah,
I actually just stopped it.
like
I was
we
like,
need to get to
I'm
an
over it.
hour. Keep making the
Yeah.
face.
I'm over
Okay.
it.
All
Yeah.
right, Jeff. Anything before we give our scores?
I just same thing. I like the director, and I would love A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. And we know, Crystal, weren't you a fan of Brand New Cherry Flavor?
Yes.
Haley Z. Boston, the writer, wrote for Brand New Cherry Flavor.
Oh, I love that.
And of course, Dan Stevens. We've done lots of Dan Stevens stuff. So, The Guest, I remember, was the first thing I heard H&R do. He was the star of The Guest, and then Apostle, the creepy one. So anyway, I like this a lot. Not quite as much as the other ones. It's such a different flavor, but I still enjoyed where it went. That lotion woman, that lotion girl
creature, another great.
That was
great. Yeah,
that was
it
crazy.
was almost before that. It almost like was the stuff. When it was coming out.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah.
All right, so
not
from
that no, I didn't.
all right, fine. For me, this is a 4. I'm gonna give her 4. My favorite scene is going to be the axe. Just or maybe everything that she does to poor Martin Starr. She's just like,
yes! Oh my god, that was actually really funny. I was shocked. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this. Alrighty then, let's do it.
Could have done this in. Christopher, your score and favorite scene?
This is gonna get a 3.25. I just didn't. I didn't connect with this, but if favorite scene, I think when she first stabs him in the forehead.
Yes.
That was
and
fun,
just his reaction to it, because then it felt kind of real. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, should I pull this out? What's going to happen there? Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh, it's bleeding on my. He's
like, you actually stabbed me.
Yeah. And I feel like
something
felt more
heavy
real.
hit me. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like something probably that would
sad.
happen in reality. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to like, running around screaming and stuff. And you felt for him, but it almost had a comedic tint to it, because you're like,
Martin Starr, yeah.
But I loved his character and his responses to her. You could feel that he really loved her and stuff. So
yeah, but was a little fed up. Crystal, your score favorite scene?
He was actually my favorite part of this whole.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna do 3.75. And my favorite scene is the same. It's gotta be the same scene, because after he did that, and how he calls into work, and he's like, yeah, we've got it to, and then actually it's that whole bit. Yeah,
the whole bit.
With Jeff, basically everything she does to him.
What's on my back?
Jeff, your score and favorite scene?
This one I'm going a 4 on. I still liked it. It just was so weird. But it really made me kind of think. And it did have a little bit of a, I don't know if she was crazy or if there was something going on with the shopping network that she was watching that they were talking about.
Very, very
well, my favorite scene, my favorite scene is that she then, after doing away with her husband, she then does her taxidermy thing on there and puts him posed watching TV with the remote in his hand. And then says, bye, dear, when she goes to work.
Because the remote was part of the thing at the beginning, too. So I was waiting for it. All right. Up next is Pickman's Model. This is from director Keith Thomas, teleplay by Lee Patterson, based on a short story by H.P. Lovecraft. It involves an artist student who befriends Richard Pickman, another artist played by Crispin Glover. It's Ben Barnes and Crispin Glover. And he paints paintings that are horrific. And we'll just leave it at that. Dive into this one, folks. What did we think of Pickman's Model?
Okay. I'm in love with
Crispin Glover. Yeah.
Okay. No.
This was a great performance. So good.
I love him.
Only Crispin Glover can make a Bostonian accent seem creepy.
He's fabulous.
His accent is so off the wall, but like it just works.
I didn't recognize him. And I mean, I knew he was in it, but I don't know if I'd have recognized him without knowing that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Really?
At
Oh, I
first.
recognize him right. He looks the same to me. I'm like, he's like 60 and he's perfect. He's just perfect.
He's a little nuts, but yeah.
No, he's perfect.
He's nuts in real life.
He's
No,
perfect.
he might be, but he's eccentric. Let's say he's eccentric.
But
He definitely brings that quality here.
I love H.P. Lovecraft. Okay, and so I was just like working on some art for this. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't, but I was.
Don't show us that art. We'll go crazy.
But this isn't. They did a good job with this. But it's a little different. But that's okay. Ben did a great job. I love Ben.
Ben Barnes.
He's
Yeah.
in Shadow and Bone, and he's great in that. And he was what, Prince Caspian? Yeah. So he's wonderful too. He's way normal compared to Crispin. It's too bad. But I did enjoy this one. I felt like this one ran a little long as well.
But it also has a time jump, which is weird for a short story to have a time jump. So
Yes. Well, yeah, there's another one. Yeah. There, it's fine. I thought the cinematography was just really good. Of course the acting is phenomenal. I have nothing really bad to say about this one. It's really good.
well, I think that
I don't know what to say about it. Like, it's like I don't really have anything.
Yeah. Well, Ben Barnes and Crispin Glover play well off each other.
Oh yeah.
And the paintings, I think this is the one that gives me the night gallery vibe over top of like other anthologies to kind of base this on. Well, I mean, because it literally has a painting in it that kind of gives us an idea of what may happen if you pay attention. But it's also, I don't know. I enjoyed this one quite a bit as well, but mostly it's because Crispin Glover gives a terrific performance.
Oh my god,
Really.
So
From the
And
moment
this was actually
He's
based on a
perfect,
Lovecraft
Christopher.
story.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah. It's
well, you're,
Pickman's model. That's what it is. Yeah.
but yeah, I love the artwork they display, and then it also has that it has that creepy Lovecraftian sort of sexual energy to it as well, especially the one that stagecoach or whatever goes by and he looks in there and the guy's like,
oh no, yes.
like it on some decrepit breast or something.
Oh my god, that was weird.
But yeah, I mean so there's like all those sort of creepy moments and just the visions he has of when he goes to that dinner party and sees that vision. But yeah, I will say the time jump was a little bit weird in the middle of it. Not sure if that was a good choice, but overall, yeah, I really enjoyed. I love the imagery of it, and also just the creature thing at the very end, with like the little, nut section. But yeah, and I loved also how they would he would look at the paintings, and you had the paintings would move and stuff. And then also there's a whole when that one painting comes to life with the dinner table, with everything on the dinner table. I don't know. This definitely felt. It definitely had. I mean, it's based on Lovecraft stories, so it definitely felt very Lovecraftian, and telling it visually. And also that ending. We always talk about like foreign films getting away with stuff. Yeah.
There's a Santos moment at the end of this movie.
Yeah, but it's a great ending to it. It's a great dark ending to like a Lovecraftian, because Lovecraft stories are not known for having happy endings.
They're not happy endings. All right, Jeff.
Even when they say they're a happy ending.
That's not really happy. Anything else, Jeff?
I absolutely love this. The director Keith Thomas also did The Vigil, which came out a couple years ago.
Oh, I love The Vigil,
which was really good.
No love for Firestarter.
Well,
I love Firestarter.
No, the remake, not the new.
I loved it too.
Oh, did you? Okay.
So
I did.
I loved it, and it's one of my favorite Lovecraft stories, and
Oh, nice.
about
it's like
Dagon?
one of my favorite Night Gallery episodes is with
Well, there you
Bradford Dillman plays the lead. So this changes a little bit from the story. There's a whole lot more
Yep.
to it than
That's what I was
Lovecraft
saying, it's
story.
different from the Mhm.
But this is like, this is it. And
This is it.
the way the paintings were shown, because it's hard to show the unspeakable thing that drives you nuts when you see it, right? But the way they did those paintings, like you said, Christopher, the way they kind of moved and flowed and almost like 3D and alive, that was incredible.
Yep. All right. Well, let's give our score and our favorite scene, Christopher.
4.75 for me.
Nice.
I think the time jump kind of threw me off story-wise, but I think it's a brilliant episode. And again, man, the production design, the costumes and stuff, the design of that house that Crispin Glover's character's in. I mean, and then the design of the creature, which looked very practical. And even the practical effects in that very end scene. I'll say my favorite scene is that end scene.
Oh,
when he goes
we might all be picking that.
Because just the look of the girl,
the mom,
yeah,
the wife,
the mom,
his
yeah,
wife.
and then you find out what's in the
for
box,
dinner?
what's in the box, what's in the hot box. But yeah, I have to say that I was like, are they going there? They're going there.
They're going there, and it was beautifully done. Crystal, your score and favorite scene.
I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Still not my
Nice.
favorite. And my favorite scene is when Crispin first comes into the class and they're drawing that man, and when Ben goes to like clean up.
I like that. Yes.
Sees Crispin's work, and you could just see like. I think Ben did an incredible job here of being able to really convey like. That's brilliant.
Yes,
Being
with
a
a
bit
with a tinge of
jealous,
jealousy.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and that's basically at the core of the story. So this was. I mean, if I had to rank them, this is definitely top 3 for sure.
Nice.
Might
Jeff,
be second.
score, favorite scene.
Score 5.5.
Ah,
Wow,
damn you!
Lovecraft rules.
just because, I mean, to me, it's almost like a dream come true to see this story
really?
done
Nice.
this well. Favorite scene? Oh my God, I would have took the last one.
You can do that.
You can still do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you knew, I guess, when she turns around, when his wife turns around, because up until then, I'm picturing like, what are some of the other movies we've seen where there's somebody chopping and you go over there and they're like chopping their fingers up?
I thought that was
I
first I thought that was what
That's what I
happened.
was looking through. Yeah.
but that's not it. And boy, do they have those CGI things down now, because those eyes they did not look CGI'd to me. They looked like real hollowed
You
out.
could see the
eye
reflection
sockets.
in the different gooey
parts
of the eye socket holes.
The wet.
Very good. All right, my score is going to be 4.5. It's just under the rats for me. And my favorite scenes are the 2 that have been mentioned. So I'm going to go with both of those. Those were the first time you see his artwork and you get that jealousy and respect at the same time. And then of course the head and can't not like that. All right, up next is Dreams in the Witch House. Am I right? Right, yeah. Dreams in the Witch House from Catherine Hardwicke as the director. The teleplay is by Micah Watkins, and it's based on a short story by H.P. Lovecraft. And this involves Walter Gilman, played by Rupert Grint, who has lost his sister when they were young, and he has been mourning for her ever since, to his detriment, and he finds a way to reconnect in a very Lovecraftian fashion. So let's dive in and find out what we thought of this one.
Oh man, the production design.
Oh
on
man.
this. The production design, the fantastical areas it goes. There's a scene that takes place in a church that made me laugh out loud, but in a good way. But also was creeped out by the design of the witch.
Oh my god, the witch
was amazing. There's like a really cool thing they play off of, like seances and stuff. I don't know. There's so many cool things about this episode that I loved.
Yeah, Rupert Grint is amazing in this.
Amazing.
He's so good.
He's so good. Like
you really feel for him, you know. He's
Yeah.
wanting to get his sister back.
Yeah.
Well, I love Jake and Brown's, or I'm sorry, I love DJ Squall's, but the character that he plays, you never really get to see his face.
Wow, I was like,
the rat-faced boy, the rat-faced rat, and the boy-faced rat. I don't know.
Yeah, that was like, wow, they went there with that. You know, I was like, I wasn't expecting a little rat creature, because the first one I saw at Skelly, I said, did that rat creature have a head? I was like, oh my god, they have that. Because I think
I don't think I ever put that together that was DJ Squalls. But
I only knew it off of the fact.
I had to look it up. You can't.
I saw someone post. I think DJ Squalls, he actually posted it on Twitter or something. He's like, hey, I can finally show these behind the scenes stuff of him, the makeup and stuff. But because I feel like was it in Dagon? Was it one of the other Lovecraft movies where they had like a rat creature?
Not
but
Dagon. Dagon's all fish.
Well,
not Dagon. There was something. There was one of those.
Water.
Or was it Castle Freak?
In the water.
Might have been Castle Freak.
It was Castle Freak.
Yes.
Okay, I think Castle Freak. There's like a rat creature.
Yes, thank you.
So I was like, wow, and I was
Jeffrey Combs imitation in Dagon.
and I was like, wow, but it wasn't like so goofy you didn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, I need to step on that thing before it causes more harm. But yeah, the look of that witch, that one scene where it comes out of the shadows and they're just because there's fire instead of the regular part of the eye, it's just fire, and you see that glint of the silhouette. Oh my god! Or even like the design of it when they're in the netherworld or whatever, where part of her dress is like roots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I was like get like a giddy, like a little schoolgirl going to a BTS concert. I was like, oh my god, I just love. I mean, the attention to detail in some of these things when it comes to just the look of that bar he went to, or even that raggedy house with like that things there. I was like, man, there's too many houses in this anthology with like, you know, like mold.
Mold on the ceiling. Don't mold on the ceiling is a bad sign. The Forest of Lost Souls was amazing. Yeah, this was strong. This was a strong one.
This one I think was shot really beautifully, and I love. Okay, so they did change the story, but I think sometimes you have to with Lovecraft because, well, for money reasons for some, and for just like obvious reasons for others. But I loved the ending of this. I think the ending is actually still the same, except for like what happens to the sister. I think she goes back or something. I can't remember completely. I should probably read it again. But I think I can't decide whether I like this one or Pickman's model better. I'm a huge Lovecraft fan.
Nice.
Not him personally, but his stories. And I'm like, there's something about this one that is just one is eerie.
Well, and this one actually hit me on all the major emotional levels. Mm-hmm. You know, because there's a scene involving the sister that actually made me teary-eyed.
Yeah,
there's also creepy scenes involving that witch. That scene when they're in that church and the witch shows up in that window up top, like that. I was like, oh god! But also I laughed out loud because that nun, she's like Get the F out of my church. I laughed so hard. That reminded me of Dead Alive when the guy says, I'm kicking ass for the Lord. It felt like that moment. I laughed so hard because I was not expecting that. I just came out of nowhere. But I don't know. I feel like everything, it worked on so many different levels, because there's even that kind of fantasy level too, because we have like this ghost. His sister is very ghost figure-y, and it's almost like the old school ghost type stuff.
Yep.
But I think everything works so effectively in this episode.
Yeah, I like there was kind of a mythology behind it that we didn't quite get, and the characters didn't quite get. They were kind of flying by the seat of their pants, and some of it worked and some of it didn't the way they thought it was going to.
Especially with the pictures. When she started putting the pictures together, trying to
the other character that did was what are you doing here? Good stuff. Jeff, anything about the director and the writer here?
Well, actually, I was going to mention the woman, and her name is Liz Johnston, that played the witch. She also played the lotion woman, and she also played Dottie in Lot 36 when they gave some history on those books.
Okay.
So she had, it's interesting. I think that's the only one that I noticed that was in multiple episodes of this. But no, other than Lovecraft, oh my gosh.
And we got Nia Vardalos playing the Madame Levine, who's in My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
That.
Oh man.
Oh, I did. No, maybe I did. I kind of feel like I did, but I think I also kind of.
I thought I recognized her. I just looked it up on IMDb. I just realized, oh, that's her.
That's actually really funny.
Of course,
Doc, I'm sure, remembers DJ Qualls from as Citizen Z.
Yes, Citizen Z. Yes, of course. Yes. Of course, the director is behind Twilight. Also did Miss Bala recently. But Twilight, I guess most people
did 13, didn't she?
13? Yep, 13. Lords of Dogtown. Interesting choice, I think, for director, and does a tremendous job directing.
Oh, she's got the chops for it, so we can't
see more. I want more.
We can't get on her about Twilight movies.
No. All right, let's go ahead and give our score and favorite scene. Crystal, you're up first.
I'm gonna give this a
4. Just a 4.
4.25.
4.25.
No, maybe a 4.5.
4.5.
Whatever. It's good. Okay, it's starting to get really confusing now. Okay, you know me. I'm like, so it's good. It's good. Both of the H.P. Lovecraft adaptations are actually really good. I would like to see Dagon. It could be simple.
It could be in the second season.
It's
right?
a super simple story if you did it just how he did it. So simple. So simple. So and my favorite scene. God bless. I like when he first takes the drug and visits.
Oh, Booger. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I think that was fun.
Next time, aim for the pillows, right?
Yeah.
Jeff, your score and your favorite scene.
I'm gonna. Boy, this is one I'm struggling with a little bit. Hell, I'm gonna say 5. And my favorite scene, literally, is Walter Gilman / Jenkins Brown walking down the street at the end of the movie.
Oh yes, that's a great.
Okay, all right.
And then he just takes.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything with it anyway.
All right, for me, this is a 4.5, straight up 4.5. So I like the paintings. I like the triangle paintings, right? I have the right one, right?
Yeah.
And the way the 3 of them fit together,
That's cool.
I guess I like the puzzle of it and the way it told the story. I like the fact that when he went into this Forest of Lost Souls, there was somebody who goes, "What are you doing?" I just like that character. Christopher, what about you? Your score and favorite scene?
5 out of 5. I thought this was
Yay!
brilliant. It worked on so many different levels. Yeah. As for favorite scene, I'll have to say when the witch attacks them in the church.
Nice. Yes.
Just that visual of her in that stained glass window
Mhm.
was so freaking creepy. I've never seen
Yeah.
anything like that before. But then when she gets in there and just like, get the F out of my church. I wasn't expecting it to be something humorous in there. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
All right, up next is the viewing from Panos Cosmastos, Amanda, and written by Panos. Is this Panos or Panos? I don't know.
I think it's Panos.
Along with Aaron Stewart. The cast includes Peter Weller, Sophia Boutella, Steve Agee, we know him, and Eric Andre and others. It's basically 4 individuals are invited to a wealthy individual's house for a viewing. And the viewing.
My favorite.
Yes.
This is my favorite.
This is your favorite? Oh, well, tell us more.
I think I love everything about. I love Peter Weller. Okay, and obviously, I have this thing about old men for some reason. I don't know what it is, but he's wonderful. He's so fabulous.
He's greatness.
I love all the cast of characters. I love how they're all so different. I love how they all come together. Now, it didn't end up the way I thought it was going to end up at all. It went in a completely different direction. And honestly, it could have kept going and I still would have been watching because I'm actually really curious to see where this whole thing was going. You would think that you'd get bored. With basically you have these people coming together and they're sitting in this room with all these funky colors.
It's just
so
a conversation.
Dave would probably hate this one. Totally. He would.
Yeah.
Dave would. Dave.
But it's not boring. It's interesting, and I really did want to find out more about these characters. And I like when they get into it and get in the room. And then I was happy to see that there wasn't actually, Peter wasn't actually a bad guy, and they were able to get out and driving that freaking car. She was a master. There's just this was fun. I don't know why this one just hit
coked
me.
up.
Yeah.
This is my least favorite.
Yeah, I bet you it's a lot of people's least
Yeah,
favorite.
I did not enjoy this one.
This was also co-written by the director and co-written by the guy that wrote Mandy.
Yeah,
I absolutely love the shit out of this episode.
Okay, good, yay.
But because it's just visually, because they even they almost shoot it in a way it's not because it takes place in the 70s, so it's almost there's like if you notice there's little white specks, almost like it was shot on film. And the use of like lens flares and the production design, that one room that they have the conversation in.
The overhead shot was really cool too.
Oh yeah, there's this really round overhead shots. There's so many freaking cool shots. There's like the way they frame things. That creature at the end is one of the most unique individual things I've seen with the weird like tentacle horn things. And just the conversations just felt, this is one of those episodes where they took a lot of people who were mostly known for being comedians. And also Peter Weller, who's he almost had this like weird 8-track thing or something.
It was so weird, right?
He pressed buttons on. The whole technology felt very like alien, I guess. But even when they meet up in that parking lot, and they're each individual different people. I don't know. I could have watched like 5 hours of just them talking about stuff because I just thought visually. And then when they, when the crap hits the fan, but. Because there's that one scene where the creature is moving and it's framed within this sort of like a sewer tunnel or something. It looks like something out of a comic book. It was so really cool. I don't know. Of course, I love me some Mandy, and this felt like a little bit of companion piece to Mandy the way it was shot. So I felt so much in love with this, and I didn't think I would because it was like you think like. I'd be like Doc, like, oh, they're just sitting around talking, but I just loved all the characters in it, and Peter Weller, and also the girl that played one of the villains in the Kingsman movie. She's
Sophia Boutella, yeah.
I have a big
Mhm.
crush on her, but I thought she
Yeah.
was great playing the doctor.
Charlene Yee was good too as the.
She was in the
Charlene
movie.
Oh,
Yee.
she was so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, because she played this like
So
nerdy
cute.
person who, but she's always
Little
driving
mousy,
a car,
yeah. Yep.
playing music loud. I mean, they're characters that don't fit the normal realm of where you would think they would fall.
What about you, Jeff?
Jeff?
I like this. It took a while to get going. I'm like going, okay. Now, I'm not as big a fan of Mandy because the spiritual guru character in that movie drove me nuts.
Mhm.
I just couldn't. He talked too slow. He was so friggin' pretentious. But Peter Weller, I think, would have pulled it off better than the actor that did it in
How
Mandy.
dare
'Cause
you?
he does
How
great.
dare you?
He does
The
great.
voice. Oh my god.
And when they finally go to the viewing, you see him, he kind of goes around and picks at everybody a little bit, and especially the music producer. But when they finally go into that room, it's the payoff is there. The payoff is there. Oh my God. My only quibble is I don't know what happened. What's the next
After. I know.
thing? Yeah.
That's why I was like, they left me hanging.
Left
He
you
walks out of the
hanging.
sewer pipe into the aqueduct, and then
And
we
the
leave.
city, head toward the
We
city.
leave Charlotte and Randall in the car in the middle of the road, kind of.
I'm sure they're okay, I would think.
Well,
She knows how to
define
drive
okay.
that
I think they're back from this year on. All right, let's go ahead and give our score and favorite scene for this. Jeff, you're up first.
Oh, well, shoot. I'm going 5. I mean, it's such a minor quibble. I love the pretty lights. And the creature thing, that thing was crazy. Even the rock looked sentient, like the waves and the shape. So anyway, favorite scene is oh my God, what's my favorite scene? Oh, I know, when the writer dude, Guy Landon, Steve Agee, says, "It's probing me," and then what happens right after that?
It's probably me. Okay, this is my least favorite, 3.5. I didn't like it. I didn't get into it. I mean,
I'm shocked.
I still enjoyed my time with it. It just didn't resonate with me. I did not care for the reveal and the thing. I was like, okay. Okay. Maybe somebody pissed in my Wheaties. I don't know. My favorite scene, and Crystal's going to be mad at me, is Charlene Yee's character driving the car at the end, getting out of there,
That's
because
only
it
'cause I gave
was
it to you.
you did, but it
You
was
didn't
so
like it.
it was so well done. That the whole thing when she even slides out at the end. But I was like,
take it one step further.
that had me so nervous because I was like, they're going to die. They're going to die in this car, and I was waiting for them.
So too.
And the fact that they didn't, I liked.
Yeah.
Well, that is, she was driving so fast. It was like he was.
That was funny.
Christopher! No, God damn it, Christopher! That's what I was going to talk about his face. I was like, I'm going to take it one step further.
Yes, you did.
And then Christopher,
I just mentioned it.
All right.
and I'm giving this a 5, so I'm done.
You're done. 5 in that scene. All right, Crystal. We'll take that as yours. Christopher, you want to give us your score?
5 cocaine lines out of 5.
Oh my God.
Sparkly.
Yeah.
My favorite scene. I mentioned it earlier, but that scene with the monsters crawling through that sort of sewer grate and his frame between there is so freaking gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I just love the design of that creature, because it almost comes out it almost became almost like the Blob move for a little bit there, and then it turned to this creature where you just have like the teeth and those 2 gnarly like tentacle type horns, and then the way it's moving, it's like very slow, methodical. Oh God, I love the hell out of that.
Well, let's just say that if you don't do cocaine like Peter Weller's Lionel Lasseter does cocaine, you don't do cocaine.
Holy crap.
Yeah, normally I'm all about people like taking drugs and stuff for the sake of, but that was one of the few times where okay, this is entertaining to watch these people, especially when they go a little bit crazy.
All right, up next, and the 8th one is The Murmuring from director Jennifer Kent. Teleplay is by Jennifer Kent, based on a short story by Guillermo del Toro. And this involves Nancy and Edgar Bradley, who study birds. In particular, their murmurings. I guess that's where they fly around in their patterns, right? Did I get that right? And of course, they're dealing with the loss of their daughter, the recent loss of their daughter. I think a year has passed. And they go to a house, an isolated house on an island, and shit go down. What do we think, guys?
I love this one. I mean, it's definitely a departure from a lot of them because it's definitely very dour and sort of sad. Because you can sort of see this relationship. This is the first time I've actually seen Andrew Lincoln in something other than Walking Dead, where I was like, wow, this guy has some real acting chops.
He's good.
And also, man, he's like the older dude now. But
they made him look a little bit older.
They did, but I'm like, oh God, it makes me feel old. But you could sort of see their relationship, and also just how, again, I love taking these sort of stories and putting it in a different realm, because of these people that are studying birds. I've never seen a movie based around that, and even though I was even thinking, it's like, how do they do the photography of birds? They had to make sure they were in certain areas. I'm sure some of the CGI, they might have CGI birds at times, but also just the look of the house, the production design, although I'm not sure if that's why you wouldn't have like rotting and, stuff because of like holes in your roof. But yeah, I love the relationship there. I love the spookiness of the imagery of the ghosts and stuff in that house, but also how it ties into her own life and dealing, with the ghosts of her past, where it becomes like a physical representation of that. And by the end, I had to wipe away tears by the end of it.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was a very powerful, probably the most dramatic episodes of all the episodes. But again, that's what I love about this anthology. You can go something from Panos Cosmatos, which is batshit crazy. You go to this one, it's more traditional drama ghost story, where you have the drama of the real life, but the ghost elements, supernatural elements, are representation of that, coming to terms with the death of a child. But yeah, and it had some creepy moments in it. It's very effective, and that actress I'm not sure if I've seen her anything.
Yeah, Babadook. Yeah. She's in Babadook. She's
in Babadook. Oh, okay. I couldn't remember that. Yeah.
She's Game of Thrones. Somebody Game of Thrones.
She's amazing.
She's also she's in a great Australian series called Miss Fisher's Mysteries, I think. It's a really fun show where she's like in the 20s, she's a woman's proponent. She helps out young women, and they help her in her. Yeah. And Jennifer Kent. I love Jennifer Kent. Love Babadook. Love The Nightingale.
Yep.
So yeah, this is a complex character story of the relationship between these two and how it's developed and how these ghosts kind of play into that, and the birds. It's just really interesting how it's all put together, and they both act. I didn't feel any real false notes in the characters. Between the husband and the wife, their reactions felt real.
So this isn't my kind of story, it's just not my thing, but it's done well and it's good. But if they were all like this, I would not be watching the series, because I just don't like these sad, depressing ghost stories. It's not my thing, but I get it.
I enjoyed much of this, but not all of it. I'm more in Crystal's camp here. This one was probably the most disappointing of the bunch for me, because I was expecting more from the thing. But that's that's overselling my reaction because
Me
it's,
too.
it's
I
so
still
well
liked
done.
it, enjoyed it. Yes.
But
and I
there was
Mhm.
when I got a little bored with this one. This one,
Hmm.
I didn't like our two lead characters. I didn't find out, their relationship. I just found, the whole thing was a little iffy to me, but I don't know. It's weird because I think this might be the most professional of the bunch, but it might be the least effective of the bunch for me personally.
It's a totally different feel from the other ones, I think.
Yes.
Entirely, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's much more about the people. It's much more of a gothic ghost story almost,
Mhm. Oh, very much. Yeah, very much.
And I don't know how to.
This is the less Lovecraftian of the bunch.
Failing me. So anyway, yeah, it's reminded me of a lot of, it's more like a low intensity ghost story that's, again, more about the people's relationships and that stuff. And I thought that was expertly done.
I got a little
Just
tired
not
of
my
it
thing.
though. I got a little tired of Andrew Lincoln whining. I mean, it was well done and it meant a lot, but after a while, it was like,
I didn't. I
Move
got
along,
I
move
got more
along.
tired of that lotion episode than this one. That was tiring.
That's
Rubbing
fair.
and
Yeah, I'll
lotioning.
give you that too.
But puts the lotion on the skin. But I don't know. I was sucked into this, and again, this is definitely. I mean, I think that's the great thing about this anthology in general, that they're not just all same from the same cut of the cloth. Yeah, there may be connections, I guess, Lovecraftian, but I mean, like this one, the Panos Cosmatos, the outside one, the lotion one. I mean, they're all told in these different styles, and some of them are made more traditional, some more comedic, some more fantastical. Yeah, and this falls more in the gothic realm, I think, and it worked for me. Yeah, and I felt the connection there, and I felt those wonderful moments where Andrew Lincoln's trying to connect with her, like that part where he's doing his little dance and stuff. I just thought was so sweet and romantic and sad because she's not, she's definitely keeps, not wanting to connect and not wanting to deal, and then, yeah, there's some creepy moments. I mean, they're definitely traditional, I guess, in the way they're done, but very effective. Like the floating, mom towards the camera shots and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a very sadness of this, which
too sad for me. That's
which I think can turn people off because they want
Turns
something
me off
probably
big
more
time.
fantastical or. And when you get too sort of sad or that it can maybe disconnect some people,
that's really all it is for me.
There's
like,
nothing.
You have one mother who drowned her child and then killed herself, and then you have another mother that freaking lost her child, and she's trying to, and then she's losing her husband in the process.
It's there's not enough Raiders of Lost. There's not enough Raiders of Lost exploding heads for Crystal.
Yeah, there's no melting faces. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this
You're
up.
You're not
and
wrong.
Give our
no smoke machines either, right? No smoke machines.
There'd be more fog.
Well play Smoke Machine would have done Crystal proud.
All right, on an island there'd be more fog.
Yeah, it could have been. For me, this is.
But it was good though.
This is a 4 out of 5.
Yep, me too.
But it's more on technical for me than I'm going to shut up. My favorite scene is really hard for me because that's the problem with this. This is so low key. Not sure what stands out. So I'm going to go with what Christopher said about the floating. There's nothing better than a floating ghost down the hall, and this certainly did it well. But yeah, so this is low key out of the batch, and it's also like you said, more serious and probably the less Lovecraftian of the batch as well. But there you go. That's my take, Christopher.
This gives a 5 out of 5. I mean, yeah, it's more traditional in its storytelling, and definitely one of the saddest, I think, of the episodes. But it worked for me. It really connected with me. And I'm gonna go in a different direction. I'm gonna go in this sweet moment. I think when he plays that record.
Okay, good.
And well, I could have gone for the ending, but I went for this sweet moment of when Andrew Lincoln plays that record and he starts doing this little goofy dance for her to sort of like bring her spirits up and hopefully come on to her or whatever. I just found that the very.
Poor boy wants to get laid. That's all.
Well, yeah.
That's true. And see, that's why it's not as sweet to me. I'll show you.
He just wants to stick his beak. No, anyway. Yeah, I just find I found that the very sweet moment.
Oh my gosh, Crystal.
Christopher, I'm gonna give this a 4. See, it's not my least favorite. That's still lot 36, so no worries there. Okay. So I did love their relationship. My favorite scene is it's in the beginning when they're showing their footage and they get done with it and everyone rushes to him and says, "Oh, so proud of you." And then he says, "Yeah, but it was really her. It was mainly her." I love that because of the time,
The time period, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he wants to make sure that she gets all the credit too because she was I just thought that was really sweet.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I like men who will give credit where credit is due.
Jeff.
I'm going 5 for the relationships, both the relationships, the ghost story, and how all that stuff, and the birds, and how that, and the house, and how that all melded into the outcome that they got, and made a lot of sense. And the way that the characters played it, I thought was excellent. Favorite scene, I'm going to do the what have you done? Flying ghost.
And what it actually meant, right?
Yeah.
That was good. I'm surprised nobody mentioned the birds in the attic because I thought that was visually beautiful scene.
I mentioned the hole in the wall, but the birds in the attic I think was just Again, there's stuff like that that just looks production wise just looks gorgeous.
It looked awesome, but I still am like going, wait a minute, there's a great big hole in the roof.
I was thinking that too.
Water leaking through, but okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I was like, that's like, how
Sometimes
are they?
You just have to let things go.
Yes,
it was important for the bird scene though. But,
that and there'd be a lot of bird crap up there too.
Ew, there would.
Well, the point is that the birds that this was something that the birds wouldn't normally do. That this was something unusual for this particular breed of birds, which I know nothing about birds other than they have feathers, and I guess not all of them have feathers even. So, so that was all lost on me. But anyway, there you go. That's in depth, hour and a half on 8 episodes of Guillermo del Toro's Capital Curiosities. I think we're all.
Oh wow, we did it. We went.
In.
So my overall score is 4.9375.
There you go. We're just going to round that up to a 5.
Not doing math.
I just want to say that I hope they get a second season. This is something they need to do every year. Netflix, do it.
I can't tell you how long I've been waiting for a show like this. Nothing else has quite lived up to it, in my opinion. This is just
and I don't think there's any anthology that's really has. I mean, maybe Masters of Horror a little bit, but I don't think any anthology has really had that attention to detail when it came to production design, because there's like so many different period pieces throughout all of this, even the 70s and or time periods and the buildings and the costumes. I was just really blown away by the level of detail and that you don't find in these, because let's make it all contemporary stories, so we don't have to spend a lot of money on costumes and wallpaper and building structures. And there's like so many
antiques.
Antiques. There's so many different structures and things they built, like that the weird pentagram table and all these like physical objects they made that like I kind of like, I don't want the pentagram table, but there's other stuff I want.
I want that seance table.
and the people the people they put together too, and what they were able
The
to
actors
produce
and
this.
directors,
Directors.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
A
the
lot of talent.
writers,
Lot of talent. Really well done. This is a well put together show, well produced show. I want to say that it's my opinion that you should not watch. You should not binge this. This is not.
No, I would agree.
I think this should be watched one at a time because I binged the last 3, and I think that was part of the reason why I started disliking them as they were going along.
It's just too
Because
much.
yeah, I think these need to be watched as if they were a full length movie, even though they're often half or less than that. I think one's 37 minutes, most of them are around an hour, and but they deserve to be consumed, not just watched.
Yeah, and I kind of wish that they kind of released them daily.
One a week, yeah.
Yeah, but I
Well,
think Netflix is kind of getting to doing that more.
No. They should just release them. It's up to people to control their watching. That's the bottom line.
Well, I
No,
like
but-
that they did 2 a night. I like they did 2 a
Come
night.
on.
Well, but I think it also helps with word of mouth because I think a lot of times because it's an anthology, they may turn it off and not watch all of it. I think if you're talking about a regular series, but I think because these are individual stories that aren't
It's not connected, and there's not a
not
catch
really
me at
connected,
the end.
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think this works. So and I enjoyed watching one every day when I was doing my watching movies like every day of October. So worked for me.
You don't watch movies every day, regardless. I bet you do.
Well, all right. We've been here an hour and a half. Well, let's get out of here. We appreciate you hanging out. I hope for those who are still with us, 90 minutes in, thank you for hanging out. Christopher, Crystal, Jeff, thank you for joining me, and thank you for staying up way past all our bedtimes, at least most of ours. I don't know about
Yeah.
Christopher. Thank you for hanging out.
I don't sleep because of the birds
The birds.
and the ghost children.
Mm.
I'm cold.
And the rats.
I'm
The
cold.
rats.
I want Taco Bell.
The
No,
rats.
that's just me.
Ooh,
That's just me talking to myself.
All right, let's you woke yourself up. I'm cold. I want to talk about. All right, let's get out of here. Let's say good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Uh,